Oversimplify. Star Trek The Next Generation. The whole thing. Go. Right, so Star Trek Next Generation is a sci-fi series about a ship with some crew. Um, you got a bald guy. You got a guy that has a beard from season two, which is the point where the season gets good. Is at the point where he has the beard. Then you have a blind engineer who wears a visor and just looks cool. Then you've got an android who it's like a child, but also one that can do complex like quantum physics. Uh, then you've got a counselor who can kind of read minds, but also not really read minds. Then you've got a doctor who has some past affiliation with the ball guy, but you can't actually work out what that past affiliation is. No one really ever finds out until a little bit later. So then you also have a Klingon, and you might be thinking, wait, weren't we against them in the last one? Yeah. Well, times have changed. Times have moved on. This is set 80 odd years past the original series. So then you also got you've also got this like head of security, and she's like this like young woman, and so in season one she's killed. Um, so season one there's so she's killed, and then there's this whole conspiracy about something going wrong in like in Starfleet, which is like the name of the organization. Also, at some point in there, there's this omnipotent entity who decides to take a liking with the bald guy. So yeah, then that happens, and then he's like, "Oh, we're gonna put the whole of humanity on trial for 7 years. Have a good day, Yendo. See you later." So then they get into season two, and then season two is like, okay, so the Klingon is now head of security because the other woman died, unceremoniously. It was contract things, and the Doctor's also been replaced with a much older version. It was actually not that bad a character, but some people hate her. So yeah, she was always getting in the way, and she was always trying to encourage this android, even though she doesn't like androids. And then, like in the series finale, they ran out of money, so they just did a They just did a clip show episode, which everyone hated. Which honestly, if they had played the episode before as the final episode, that would have worked. But then they go into the third series. Actually, I do not remember when the Borg appeared. Season two or season three? I think it was season three. I think it was midway through season three. So this omnipotent entity decides, click his fingers, send them halfway across the galaxy, and they fight an enemy which they have no chance of winning, and then they get flicked back after they lose 13 of their crew members. 17. I'm gonna go with 17. If I'm wrong, someone fact check me. Someone fact check me. I think it's oh, what's it called? It's not Best of Both Worlds. It's the other one. Um, okay, so then they completely forget that's happening. And by the way, in all of this, the Romulans, which are this like they're space Soviets, space Russians, basically. So they're like being expansionists and being just like we're here, we're gonna threaten you. So yeah, and then apparently the Klingons and the good guys are allied as well against them. So I don't know. And then at the end of that series, there's a big fight because there's one Borg ship comes in, destroys 40 Federation ships, and like threatens the annihilation of the entire Federation. So this one ship, called the Enterprise, through the power plot armor, manages to get the bold guy, their captain, captured, and then the bold guy he then gets recaptured, and they put the Borg to sleep and destroy him, and then behind the scenes, it's like Patrick Stewart might actually be leaving. and then he doesn't, and then they spend several episodes before they actually start doing anything in season 4. Which honestly, I can't remember what they did in season 4. There's a bunch of good episodes. There's some time travel stuff, some cause and effect, and some time arrows here and there. And then at the end of one of them, there's like there's this Klingon civil war because um, basically Klingons are corrupt, and their way of governance is basically how many ships do I have to blow up the enemy ships? That's their way of government. The one that's got the more firepower is usually the one that wins in their elections. Uh, so just to say the least. Um, then there's like a series where a season where it's like again same things happen. Oh, I forgot about Wesley Crusher. He's this annoying kid that like is there for the first few seasons, then disappears, and then comes back eventually, um, for like one episode, and then gets snubbed in the movies, and then there's this one episode somewhere where the bald guy Picard um, gets like he has a probe implant memories of someone, and you basically see an entire episode where he lives out the life of that person, and it's actually one of the best episodes of Star Trek ever, even though there's nothing to do with Star Trek in it. And so then they go back into the past and they meet Mark Twain, and and that's where Guinan is as well. And there's like this whole time travel thing. Data gets killed, but actually kind of not. And then there's like another series where they rescue a Borg, like they properly rescue a Borg, and like they turn the Borg into a human, and then they give the Borg back, and then later on that comes to bite them in the ass because Data's the android's evil brother, also an android, decides to take over the Borg and then just cause problems. And then by the like then they get to the end of the series and it's like there's some time travel stuff, and it turns out that this entity, this this omnipotent being from like the first episode is still putting them on trial and just messing things up, and but they pass, and they're like they're best friends after. And then there's a movie that happens which basically is a carbon copy of everything that happened in the Borg at the end of season 3 and the start of season 4, except that Picard doesn't get captured, Data does, and it's and there's also like this other actor in that's kind of well known, um, and there's the Borg Queen, which completely destroys the entire idea of the Borg, and then there's like another film which no one can remember, and then there's oh wait, I forgot Generation. So before that, there's like a whole film where like the previous captain dies saving the new captain, and then they get to then they get to Nemesis, and people hate Nemesis, but I don't. I think Nemesis is actually a really good movie. And then they come back for a series called Star Trek Picard Season 3, which is actually, they don't want you to know this, it's actually the Next Generation Season 8, which was actually it was really a banger. It tied up a lot of loose ends and made me think that actually I want another movie.